Mia had always been fascinated by antiques, so when she stumbled upon an old, ornate mirror at a flea market, she couldn't resist. The mirror was grand, its frame carved with twisted vines and delicate roses. The vendor warned her it was over a century old, but the low price made Mia scoff at any supposed curses or bad luck associated with it. She hung the mirror in her bedroom, admiring how it caught the light during the day and seemed to glow softly at night. For a while, it was just a lovely decoration until she noticed something odd. Every time she glanced at it, even just in passing, she felt something was off. The reflection always seemed a split second behind, like the image in the mirror was moving just a bit too slowly. Brushing it off as her imagination, Mia decided to test it out. She lifted her arm, waving it slowly in front of the mirror. There it was again, a barely noticeable lag. But when she stared hard, the reflection was perfectly in sync. "Must be tired," she murmured, dismissing it. That night, Mia lay in bed, staring up at the ceiling. The house was quiet, but something kept her from falling asleep. She turned over, facing the mirror. The moonlight dimly lit her room, and she could just make out her shadowy reflection. As her eyelids grew heavy, she thought she saw something strange. Her reflection didn't turn over when she did. Instead, it stayed facing her, its eyes open and watching. Mia jolted awake, sitting up straight. Her heart pounded as she squinted at the mirror. Her reflection mirrored her every move perfectly. "Just a dream," she muttered, though a chill crawled down her spine. The next night, Mia tried to ignore the mirror, but the feeling of being watched persisted. Every creak of the house, every rustle of the wind outside made her jump. She glanced at the mirror, and for a split second, she could have sworn her reflection smiled, just before she did. Fear twisted her gut, but she refused to let it control her. She marched up to the mirror and yanked it off the wall, tossing it face down on the floor. She would deal with it in the morning. With the mirror out of sight, she finally managed to fall asleep. But she wasn't alone. Mia woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of something scraping against the floor. The room was pitch black. Her heart thudded in her chest as she fumbled for the light switch. When the room flooded with light, her breath hitched. The mirror was standing upright, leaning against the wall just as it had been before. A shiver ran through her. She was sure she had placed it face down. Slowly, she approached it, peering cautiously at her reflection. She froze. The person in the mirror wasn't her. It looked like her. Same face, same eyes, same clothes. But something was different. The eyes staring back were hollow, and a faint, sinister smile played on its lips. Mia stumbled back, her heart hammering as the reflection slowly lifted a hand and waved at her. She screamed and backed away, but the reflection didn't disappear. Instead, it stepped forward, its hand pressing against the inside of the glass as if testing a barrier. Mia watched, paralyzed, as the reflection's smile widened. "Let me out," it mouthed silently. Tears welled up in Mia's eyes. She ran out of the room and slammed the door shut, her mind racing. She called her friend, Lisa, begging her to come over. It was nearly 3 in the morning, but Lisa heard the panic in Mia's voice and rushed over. When Lisa arrived, Mia led her to the bedroom, hesitating before opening the door. The mirror stood where Mia had left it, and her reflection seemed normal, except for a slight twitch of the lips that made Mia's stomach churn. "Are you okay?" Lisa asked, worry etched on her face. Mia pointed at the mirror. It's not me in there." Lisa glanced at the mirror, then back at Mia. "What do you mean? It's just a mirror." "No," Mia's voice cracked. "It's watching me. It moved on its own." Lisa took a deep breath, looking uncertain. "Maybe you just need some rest? Mirrors can play tricks on your mind, especially when you're tired." But Mia knew it was more than that. She grabbed a heavy blanket and threw it over the mirror, blocking it from view. That night, she tried to sleep in the living room, but something drew her back to the bedroom. She needed to know what was happening. She crept back in, slowly pulling the blanket away from the mirror. Her reflection stared at her, but it didn't smile or wave. Instead, it leaned forward and whispered something soundlessly against the glass. Then, it turned and walked away. Mia's mouth went dry as she watched her reflection disappear from the mirror, the glass now showing only the empty room behind her. Panic surged through her veins as she turned to look over her shoulder. The room was empty. But when she turned back to the mirror, she saw her reflection again, standing in the corner of the reflection, watching her. Then it started to walk closer, its face twisting into a grin. It reached the surface of the glass and placed its hand against it. The glass cracked under its touch, a web of fractures spreading outwards. With a shattering sound, the mirror exploded, shards flying everywhere. Mia shielded herself, heart pounding. When she looked up, the mirror frame was empty, just a hollow rectangle. And she wasn't there anymore. Lisa found the room empty the next morning, the mirror shattered on the floor. Mia was gone, vanished without a trace. All that was left was the mirror's broken frame and a faint, eerie whisper from the shadows within it. Let me out. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Story Heaven for more chilling tales every week. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the spooky content we have in store. Do you have a scary story idea or a personal experience you'd like to share? Drop it in the comments below. Who knows, it might just become our next featured video. Stay curious, stay cautious, and until next time, sweet dreams.